the Meiji Restoration. What occurred in Japan at this time? It went from almost a feudalistic society to an industrial power, basically overnight.
It goes back actually to what you said a little while earlier, which is this kind of pragmatism in Japan. So 1850s and 1860s, as I say, they're throwing open the doors to the West, but there's also a kind of blame game going on, because once you see the technology that the US has, that the British and the French have, steam power, weapons technology, they see what medicine is doing, science is doing. Once some Japanese go to North America, Europe, they see what cities are like there. They get back home and they say, look, we are an old and civilized place. Why have we not got all this? And so they look around and say, look, who's to blame here? Not only has the shogun failed to do that because Perry didn't get crushed, the Japanese just said yes to everything Americans and Europeans wanted, but also it was clear that under the shogunate, Japan had been held back. And so you get in the 1860s a civil war in Japan. The shogunate is thrown out, and you get this really interesting group of young samurai who become something a little bit like America's founding fathers. For about a generation, are in charge of Japan, and they borrow and adapt every technology, every idea that Japan might need, and they lead it from the center. They decide which industries Japan's going to focus on. They change laws. They take on the American banking system. Just within a single generation, they scoop up everything that could be useful for Japan from around the world. The big moment when they know they've arrived as a country, in 1904 to 5, Japan goes to war with Russia, this great semi-industrial power, and the Japanese beat the Russians. For the first time in many centuries, an Asian power has vanquished a European or a Western one. And it's this moment for everybody in Japan, in the newspapers, they're out on the streets saying, we've arrived, we're at the top table now of global powers.